Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Group on YouTube. Today we have our latest rankings video, which is going to be top 5 Cody Rhodes matches. It's not going to be top 5 Cody Rhodes in WE, it's not going to be top 5 Cody Rhodes in AEW, it's going to be top 5 Cody Rhodes matches of his career so far. So, big massive fan of Cody Rhodes. I was a fan of his originally in WWE, you know, when he was doing Legacy, especially at the beginning, and then obviously went out on his own for a bit. He sort of weren't too sure what to do with him. Wasn't a big fan of Dash and Cody Rhodes. It just the whole mask thing just annoyed me. And then obviously he teamed up with his brother Goldust. Had some fantastic tag team matches with him, and then along came the unfortunate Stardust storyline, which wasn't the best and wasn't well received by fans. Probably was at the beginning, you know, when it was first revealed. It was something different, but it got boring dead quick. And then obviously he leaves WE, goes on to Ring of Honor, does brilliant in Ring of Honor. Does quite a couple of crossovers with New Japan. Has some great matches there. Very protected in his New Japan run. I think he only had about 4, maybe 5 losses in his whole run doing New Japan there. Obviously, he'd done the NWA World Title reign that he had, and then obviously the start of AEW. He was one of the main startup wrestlers there, behind the scenes as well as on screen, and then obviously his return to WWE. So he's had a really interesting career so far, and he's had some fantastic matches. With Cody, I think he's one of them. You either love him or you hate him. I don't think there's many that are in between. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go through. Obviously, 5 being the worst out of them, and number 1 being the best Cody Rhodes match. I deem to be the best Cody Rhodes match of his career so far. And yeah, so we'll go from there. Hopefully, one day soon we'll see Cody hold the WWE Championship. You know, the whole reason for him going back to the WWE was to become the WWE Champion, which he's yet to do. You know, after that absolute mess at WrestleMania, I know a lot of fans enjoyed it, fair enough. And it wasn't so much that Cody didn't win that annoyed me, it was all the outside interference, like the amount of different people that were involved in that match. It was just a bit of a headache and a cluster F, if you like. I'm not going to say the word just in case my video gets pulled on YouTube, which you don't want. So, but you know what I mean. So we're going to go through, like I say, top 5. So number 5, Cody Rhodes faces Christopher Daniels for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. I've gone for the one which is which was on Ring of Honor TV back in 2017, which was the 2 out of 3 falls match. So it was after Cody had won the world title, his first world title of his career, against Christopher Daniels. He beat him, and then this was the rematch that they done on normal Ring of Honor TV. I've gone for this one. I think it's slightly a better match. And I also think that a lot of people, when Cody then did obviously win the world title, they expected him not to be world champion very long. Obviously, WWE had marketed him as a mid-card, and a lot of people believed, you know, that's where he'd be, basically in the mid-card, like his brother, like Dustin, Goldust. He's always been a mid-card guy, not a main eventer. And, you know, this was just Cody striving towards becoming, you know, a big name in wrestling and becoming a main event wrestler. And you know, the 2 out of 3 falls is a really good match. It's still available on Fight TV, Fight app on Fight TV. So if you go back, you can rewatch that. Like I said, obviously I've rewatched about 30, maybe 30 Cody Rhodes matches in the last 2 weeks. You know, this was supposed to be out last week, but unfortunately, like due to work and stuff like that, I just haven't had the chance to do it. So I'm going to do it now and get it out. But it's a really good match, you know. Christopher Daniels doing some great work as being the bad guy. You know, Cody gets the win in the first match. Frankie Kazarian comes down and with a chair slides it into the ring, and Cody rolls. Christopher Daniels picks up the chair and Cody Rhodes rolls him up, gets the 3. Then Daniels then hits him in the back with the steel chair. After the match, which obviously the refs trying to say, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. And Chris Daniels like, oh, why? You haven't rang the second match yet, so it's after the match. Match is finished. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't call disqualification, which is, you know, it's really good, you know. That sort of stuff I do enjoy. Plus, like, one of the main reasons why I've gone with this as well is, you know, when you get a 2 out of 3 falls match, it's normally whoever loses the first match, the other person wins the next two, you know, the big comeback sort of thing. But and it's rare that you don't see the 3 matches. And obviously, in this match, Cody wins back to back 2 matches in a row, so ends it 2-0, which you don't see a lot of in wrestling. When it's 2 out of 3 falls, you don't see a lot of back to back 2-0 victories. So I've gone with that because it's something slightly different as well. But again, like I say, you know, Cody won the match, and people still weren't expecting him to be a big deal, and to be a main eventer. And I think this was the start and the build to Cody Rhodes becoming a main event guy, not just by winning the world title, but then beating Christopher Daniels in the rematch, and then having back-to-back victories in one night. You know, a lot of people saying Cody wouldn't be able to beat Christopher Daniels twice. He beat him twice in one match, twice in one night, back-to-back victories. So, you know, this for me has to come in the top 5, and it takes the number 5 spot. So moving on, we go to number 4, and it's Cody and Goldust versus Shield. So Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. We have Dusty Rhodes at ringside, and we have Dean Ambrose at ringside for the Shield. This was Battleground 2013. So the storyline coming up to this was obviously Cody gets fired, which is quite funny if you think about it now. Cody gets fired by Triple H, and then they do the whole build up of the Rhodes family and against the authority, and obviously the Shield are involved, and you know, and the deal behind this is it was Battleground 2013, and it was like I say, it was the tag match of Cody and Goldust versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. So if Cody and Goldust won the match, then Cody gets reinstated back in WWE. If the Shield win the match, then Dusty, who was well known to be working in NXT, and Goldust would be gone from the WWE. A lot of emotion involved in the storyline and the build-up. You know, some good things that can be said about Cody Rhodes is a lot of his matches, regardless of the company, have some good storylines invested in them, and this was definitely one. You know, a lot of emotion going into this. It was the start of some good matches as well. We had the match where the Rhodes brothers then go and become tag team champions, beating Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. We get Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, the Usos, and the Rhodes brothers in a triple threat tag team match at Hell in a Cell, which was another brilliant match. So, you know, I think this run of Cody and Dustin is very underrated, and a lot of people forget just how good it was, mainly because it then turned into the Stardust storyline, and then we got that poor 5-6 minute match of Cody versus Dustin, or Stardust versus Goldust, whatever you want to call it, which was supposed to be earmarked for WrestleMania, which got bumped to the pay-per-view beforehand, which wasn't that good. But, you know, really good match. You know, we got to see Dusty take his belt off a good few times and threaten Dean Ambrose before he then actually hits him with the belt and then chase him up the ramp. You know, we get the finish was brilliant. I'd say Dusty chases Dean Ambrose up the ramp. Dustin then attacks Roman outside. Cody hits the crossroads and gets the victory. And straight away cuts to Dusty, and you can see already he's got tears in his eyes. I mean, whether it was like, you know, where they do like acting and people can cry on cue and stuff like that, whether it was that or whether he was generally proud, I don't know, but it works so well. You know, and then they get in the ring and they all celebrate together. But and then we get the follow-on storyline. So I mean, it's not the end of a storyline or anything like that, but it was a really good match. Showed just how well they could work together as a team. Having Dusty in the corner as well was something that was good. You know, it just showed that the family ties and connection, which, you know, WWE loves to go with in storylines and stuff. But, you know, it was a really good match, and I've picked this one over the one where they win the belts because Big Show gets involved in that one, and I'm not a fan of interference as such in matches and then including them in a top 5. So the reason why I've gone with this one over the championship win is because of that. Plus, like I say, so much involved in the storyline going into it. match is brilliant. It's Shield, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. It's probably the last time Roman Reigns wasn't booed. It's probably the last time Roman Reigns wasn't annoying. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people love the bloodline and stuff like that, but for me, it's gone well over its sell by date. But again, it was showing that Cody could be a main star. It was showing that he's on his way up, and they just never pulled the trigger on him, which was unfortunate. He's in a lot of Money in the Bank ladder matches, which could have also made this list. Where they could have easily put the Money in the Bank on him, and he could have won the belt that way. But it was showing, he had good support, and I think Cody probably got the better cheers tonight as well. You know, Goldust was doing well, and he was still classing Goldust as being, an old veteran, and that was 2013, and we're 2022, and he's still wrestling. So, you know what I mean? They called him old then, and he was probably in his 40s. Now he's in his 50s. But like I say, I think this run, if you go back and watch it, is very underrated and underappreciated, and people do forget about it because it did turn into the Stardust storyline. But for me, this definitely makes the top five. And I have to shout out to Joseph Parr on this one because he's the one that put me onto it. He said, when I announced it was Cody Rhodes, he was like, "Oh, this should be your number one." I was like, "I don't know about that. I don't even know if it made top five." And he was like, "Wow, it was amazing." So we messaged him back and forth, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to make sure I definitely go and watch a couple of matches from this run because I forgot how good it was myself. So I have to shout out to Joseph there, put me onto it, because this would have probably ended up with like maybe 3 New Japan matches and 2 AEW matches or something like that if I hadn't gone back and watched it. But I say Cody is on a massive career, and there's so many good matches that I've missed out on this. But if you want to go back and watch it, it's Battleground 2018. I'd watch a couple of Raws or SmackDowns or just a highlight package or something beforehand to give you the whole build up of the storyline. With Dusty, Goldust, Cody, The Shield, The Authority, it's a good build, it's a good story, and like I say, underappreciated, and I think underappreciated matches as well. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns just come up with the Shield with obviously Dean Ambrose, and they were doing some really good stuff. And Cody and Goldust did not look out of place at all against them. So, and there was no shenanigans for the victory. It was a well-deserved victory, and I think the Crossroads was quite protected back then too. So check it out. Number 4, like you say, Battleground 2013, the Rhodes Brothers versus the Shield. So that moves us to number 3. Now we're going into AEW territory, and he's had some really good matches. Cody in AEW, his match with Chris Jericho, the ladder match against Sammy Guevara. There's so many good matches there. Team with Dustin against the Bucks. So many matches that could have come in. And again, I could have done, it's same as the Seth Rollins one, same as the AJ Styles one. I could have done easily top 10, top 20, top 30 matches of a certain wrestler, but I've kept it to top 5 just because I do like to have a little chin wag about it, and I don't want the videos running like nearly an hour, which my beginning videos did. Just to keep you interested more than anything. I hope that you stay through the hopefully about a half-hour video. So so we'll go to AEW. We're going to go to 2020. We're going to go to Chris Jericho's 30th anniversary show, and it's Cody Rhodes versus Brody Lee for the TNT Championship in a dog collar match. So I forgot just how good this match was. Like, Brody Lee is a fantastic wrestler. I loved him as Luke Harper in the WWE, part of the Wyatt family. Then when he went out on his own, he became Intercontinental Champion. He had a great match at WrestleMania in the ladder match for the IC belt. And then obviously coming into AEW, coming in as a big presence, when you can outshine Matt Hardy, when Matt Hardy was doing the Broken Matt gimmick, the return of the Broken Matt gimmick when he debuted in AEW, but more people are talking about Brody Lee's debut as the Exalted One for the Dark Order. That says something straight away. Then obviously he had a great match against Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship. And then Cody needed to take some time out, didn't need to do his TV show that he was doing. I think it was Rhodes to the Top at the time. And obviously he faces Brody Lee for the TNT belt. Gets absolutely annihilated, decimated in about 3, 4, 5 minutes, something like that. Absolute squash match. Do you know this is the return match? Brody's putting his newly won TNT Championship up on the line against former champion Cody Rhodes. And unfortunately, this ended up being Brody's last ever match. He'd been suffering from an illness for quite some time and hadn't told anyone about it, so it was very shocking when he did pass away, and a lot of people thought it was a result of this match, which it's definitely not. They've been into it and told us that it had nothing to do with it, which is why we've had dog collar matches in AEW since. But, I went back and rewatched this one again, and it's a lot better than what I thought it was. I do remember it, and I remember it being good, but I thought it was a lot shorter than it was. I think it ends up being about 20-25 minutes, which is quite decent, to be fair, for AEW television. It was on Dynamite, it was the main event, and it was built as a big deal, and it was a big deal. It was a good match, and again, Cody had already become like an established name now in AEW. Obviously, he wasn't AEW World Champion when he was there, but he was always classed as a main guy, as a main eventer, and this was pushing Brody Lee up to that level himself. Like I say, he had a great match against John Moxley for the AEW World Title, and then he'd become TNT Champion. And then they were having obviously the blowout match, which was the dog collar match. Really good. I mean, I respect anyone that can do a dog collar match and do it well. Because everything becomes awkward because you're always stepping over the chain and stuff. So it's being able to do stuff like that, but also bring it into the match. So instead of just doing a nice simple step over so you don't trip up, hitting them with the chain and stuff, it builds to the whole thing. And like you can see occasionally when they're on the floor, they're trying to move the chain. I mean, it must be awkward as hell to try and wrestle with that. Like even stuff as simple like as a schoolboy or a roll up or something like that. The chains all get tangled and stuff, and it just makes simple moves hard. But there was good use of the chain in the match, which made it worthwhile. I don't like it when they use like stipulation matches, but the stipulation doesn't really come into play that much. But I think they've done it really well. Starts quick as well. Cody goes straight in after Brody. They do the little tug of war finger first, and then Cody goes at him with the chain. Brody moves, hits John Silver in the head. Poor little Johnny Hungy on the side, getting his head split open. And then about a couple of minutes later, maybe about 5 minutes later, Brody drops Cody on the floor, and then he goes and gets a cheer from the crowd. I think one of the is it Butcher and Blade, because this was during the pandemic, so this is when the wrestlers used to watch around the side. He passes him a steel chair, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to hit Cody with the chair. And the next thing is he pops this chair down and gets John Silver and sits him down. And he's like, right, you stay there. You need to watch this match. Turns around, gets out the way of a Cody dropkick, and Johnny Silver takes the dropkick. I just thought that was brilliant. It was just perfect. The way he's like, right, you've had your head gas, sit there, you'll be all right here, out the way in the corner, but I still want you to watch the match. And then 2 seconds later, drop kick. I thought that was great, just a little bit of humour in there before Anna Jay takes him off into the back. We get some good chain moves. We get DDT onto the chain. Cody gets his head bust open, Brody gets his head bust open. We end up with Brody goes through the table outside. So many good moves in it, and it is a short match, but it's quite intense for the whole time. I think the only time it's a bit slow is at the beginning where they're doing the first tug of war, which you'd expect in a dog collar match. Everyone does the tug of war, but like you say, some really good moves. Cody goes to do a moonsault off the top turnbuckle. Brody just brings him right down with the chain, because obviously it's around his neck and stuff like that. But a really, really good match, and like I say, unfortunately, Brody Lee's last match. But at some point I do want to do a Luke Harper Brody Lee top 5 as well, and I'm sure this is going to be, if it's not in it, it's definitely going to be near the top of what makes the cut. But again, really good match, and it comes in at number 3. So if you want to check that out, it's AEW Dynamite. I think it was about, I know it was 2020. I want to say it was Chris Jericho's 30th anniversary of wrestling. I want to say around October, maybe October the 7th. So if you haven't checked that out, go and watch that. Really good match. And again, like I say, Brody Lee unfortunately passed away not too long after that match. Number 2 is one from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now again, this is another one where I could have had numerous matches involved when I look at New Japan. And I'm surprised when I went through in the end, because obviously I wrote down all the matches I watched and scored each one, and then that's how I work out what's going to be in the top five, and then I work out the position when I've got my top five of who's going to be where. But again, New Japan, he had so many good matches and he was really well protected. You know, he was the IWGP US champ. He also held the NWA title when he was doing New Japan as well. He had matches against Kenny Omega. He had 2 or 3 matches against Kota Ibushi. He had, I think he had 2 matches against Kazuchika Okada as well. So, you know, he pretty much faced the best of the best at the time in New Japan. But I've gone with King of Pro Wrestling, I think it was 2018, and it was Kenny Omega versus Cody Rhodes versus Kota Ibushi. Really good triple threat match. I'm a massive fan of triple threat matches. I think they're really good. You know, again, a triple threat, another triple threat of Cody's that's really good. That just missed out on the cut was Cody versus Ted DiBiase versus Randy Orton, the legacy triple threat at WrestleMania. That could have been in there, but this match is so much better. You know, 3 stars, like say, Cody was the IWGP US champ, plus he was the NWA champion. Kota Ibushi was on a mad run of wins, and obviously Kenny Omega was the world champ at the time, so it was for the belt. Just going and coming up to Wrestle Kingdom, triple threat match. We'd had the Bullet Club was fine storylines that had all been finished with. You know, where Cody tried to take control of Bullet Club away from Kenny, which obviously led to some good storylines, some good matches there. This just after the Golden Lovers had started teaming together for the first time in a couple of years, you know, so they had the good strong friendship between Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega in the match. Started obviously working together trying to beat Cody, and it worked for a while. You know, Ibushi then goes up on the turnbuckle. Kenny grabs him down and quickly tries to hit him with a one-winged angel, which I thought was brilliant. Just like quickly trying to grab him down, and Coach's like, well, what are you doing? Jumps down, they just do that stare off at each other, and then they just go in on each other, because it's good when they're working together for a little bit, but then it's sort of like, right, come on then. Like, you know, we want to see it all go at it. You know, it's some great talent. Like, if you've ever seen any Kota Ibushi Kenny Omega matches when they face each other, it's just brutal. There was a match, I can't remember what year it was, but there's a match just after, it might have been 2018, maybe 2019. They just started teaming together, and it wasn't really a proper Golden Lovers reunion, and then they added them to like the Elite, if you like. It was like the Golden Elite thing that they did with Ibushi involved. And, you know, they were like best mates, and they started teaming together again. Then they had a match against each other in the G1, and it was one of the most brutal things ever. They just kept dropping each other on each other's necks and stuff, and it was like, use the tag team partners, and you're ready to just like go out and kill each other. Which is what I've always enjoyed about Japan, with New Japan Wrestling, is, you know, especially if the tag teams and the team together, but then they face each other in like a G1 or a Best of Super Juniors and stuff. Like, it's not, oh, let's pull punches and stuff. It's proper go out or war, because they want that win. And this is another case there as well. Like, say, Cody was the victim of a lot of moves and attacks at the very beginning as they were working together. But then as the match unfolds, then it starts becoming a proper triple threat and a proper three-way. And I think it's a really, really good, fast-paced match. And if you haven't watched any of the New Japan stuff, or any of Cody's New Japan stuff, like, that should be top of your list. Go and watch that one first. And then I say, like, say he's faced Kazuchika Okada, he's faced Omega on his own, he's faced Ibushi on his own. I think it was Wrestle Kingdom, he faced Ibushi, Wrestle Kingdom 14, something like that. But there's a good period of time, I think it's about 2-year period, where Cody's in New Japan. That's when he starts proper solidifying himself as a world star, not just a main eventer, as a world star. Like, you know, to be able to get over in Japan is not the easiest thing. It took some wrestlers years to do. Cody seems to do it quite quick. But yeah, really, really good match. Really, really, really good match, and definitely worth going and checking out. And like I say, that comes in at number 2 for me, mainly because, like I say, good match, good moves, good build, good story, and three of the best wrestlers at the time in Cody, Kenny, and Kota. And hopefully we'll get to see Kota Ibushi pop up in a major company sometime soon again. You know, hopefully he'll come into AEW, and we'll get to see Ibushi and Omega another couple of times before Ibushi's done. With any luck, we shall see that. And it's a shame Cody's now joined back to WWE, because I'd like to have seen a revisit to this. I think, to be honest, I'm sure they've done this at Ring of Honor Supercard as well, I think. Or was that, no, sorry, that was the tag team match. They had Golden Lovers versus Bullet Club, which was Cody Rhodes and Marty Scurll, I think. Because Marty comes out in this match. Which we won't talk too much on that because I know the whole big shush behind all that sort of thing. So, but yeah, like I say, if you haven't seen this is King of Pro Wrestling 2018. Definitely worth checking out, and it's again showing how Cody can be a big star in the world of wrestling. So that's number 2. So we're coming up on our number 1. And it's not the Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania. That didn't make me top 5. I'm sorry if you're a WWE fan, you'd absolutely love that match. Yes, it's a decent match. It's just not as good as you all think it is. You know, I know a lot of WWE fans probably haven't seen a lot of these matches, and that's not just me saying that. But it's being honest, a lot of WWE fans do just stick to WWE. So, like say, if you haven't seen any of the matches that I've put up so far, go and check them out. Go and watch them, and you'll realise why the likes of the Seth Rollins WrestleMania match, the Legacy Triple Threat match, and that they're not involved because these matches are in fact better. So we'll go down again. Number 5, Cody Rhodes versus Christopher Daniels on Ring of Honor television. That was for the Ring of Honor World Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Really good. That was in 2017. And we go to number 4, which was Cody and Goldust with Dusty Rhodes versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns of the Shield with Dean Ambrose at ringside. You know, Cody trying to get his job back in WWE, and the Rhodes father and son combo trying to keep their jobs. Really good match. Battleground 2013. Number 3 is Cody versus Brody Lee TNT Championship in a dog collar match. It's at the 30th anniversary of Chris Jericho's career. AEW Dynamite 2020, I think around October. Go and check that one out as well. Number 2 is Cody Rhodes versus Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And that's King of Pro Wrestling 2018. And that leads us to number 1. And if you haven't guessed it yet, I'd be very, very surprised. And I'm sure this should be number 1 in a lot of people's rankings. If it's not, leave me a comment. Let me know why this isn't number 1. Let me know why this isn't even in your top 5 if it doesn't make your top 5. Because, of course, it's Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes, AEW, what was it? Pay-per-view? Double or Nothing 2019. And he said all out then. Double or Nothing 2019. Fantastic match. Brilliant match. Great build. You know, Cody was getting his... sorry, I'm just watching... I've got a snake. I'm just watching my snake, sorry. I know it's got nothing to do with wrestling, but I was just wondering what it's doing. It's out the corner of my eye. I only got it this week. It's out the corner of my eye, and it's climbing up the tank, and it just keeps taking my eye because it's doing stuff, it's trying to get me attention. Sorry, that's nothing to do with wrestling, just a quick segue. I just wanted to show me snake on YouTube. So AEW, yeah. So we have the build up to the pay-per-view of all these matches, and then Cody gets his match, and it's announced online. It was announced that he would be facing Dustin online on Twitter. Was where it first appeared, which is quite good, to be fair. It starts to create a bit of a buzz. You know, some people didn't know that Goldust had been released. You know, he hasn't wrestled in over a year. You know, he's like 50 years of age. You know, what we're gonna get. We all knew the shocking matches that we got. I want to say shocking match because it wasn't a shocking match. It's just it wasn't given enough time, and it wasn't given the stage it deserved in WWE when they faced each other. And it was Goldust versus Stardust, so it wasn't quite what we wanted. But a lot of people were sceptical going into it, and then the more it starts to build, the more people start to become a bit more excited and a bit more excited. You know, Dusty unfortunately had not long passed. But a fantastic match. It was also, if you remember, and I'm sure you will because it's been coming up as memes a lot lately, when Cody Rhodes became the throne breaker when he got the sledgehammer, took it to the fake Triple H chair, you know, broke the throne, which a lot of people say that's why he's getting buried in WWE now, and it's all back and forth and sort of stuff like that. But great entrance, got people riled up and wanted to see what was going on, you know. Dustin got a massive pop when he come out, which was good to see. You know, a legend in wrestling, and I know legend gets thrown around a lot, but let's be honest, Goldust is definitely a legend. I've listened to podcasts about this match where Dustin's been talking, saying I didn't know whether or not people would respond to me, whether people would care that I'm there. But, I need to start looking at that snake. And the reaction was great all through the match. We got the typical fight forever and stuff like that, which I'm not a big fan of. But during this match, I can see why. It was a bloodbath, and funny enough, it wasn't Cody's blood; it was Dustin's. At one point he was bust right open. It was like a faucet. It was just absolutely pouring out of his head. It looked like it was going to be a one-sided match at first. Brandy gets taken to the back by DDP. Who remembers DDP in AEW? Who remembers DDP being in the American Nightmare family? When he was doing the American Nightmare family, DDP was part of that. He takes Brandy into the back after she gets sent to the back by Earl Hebner for doing the bionic. Do you remember that? The bionic shoulder, where she had an operation, put like a metal plate or something, didn't she, in her shoulder, and then she used that to spear Dustin, gets sent to the back. Cody does a low blow behind the ref's back. So much going in, and it was done really well. It was a really good match. Dustin was in absolute perfect condition. He was in great shape, probably the best shape he'd been in about 10 years. Pulling out some moves that we've not seen him done before because he was finally given a chance. The match was given a great amount of time compared to obviously previous match, and by the end of it there wasn't anyone that didn't enjoy that match, and to me it's probably still one of the greatest matches in AEW history. I know AEW is only 4 years to say greatest match or one of the greatest matches in the history. It's not a big history, but even still, that was 2019. We're in 2023 now, and it's still one of the top matches. One of my go-to matches. I purchased obviously the pay-per-view on Fight. At the time, it's still one of my go-to matches. I still dig it out and watch it again. And I just watched it again literally just now because I wasn't going to watch it because I knew pretty much inside and out what it's about. And I didn't need to re-watch it to be able to do this video. I knew straight away when I announced this that would be number one. I knew there wouldn't be a match that would be any better than that. But I re-watched it, literally finished it 2 minutes before I come over to do this. And it's such a fantastic match. It's really good. Crowd's well into it and they're cheering for both. Dustin pulls off some great crossroads, to be fair. He hits Cody with the crossroads twice, nearly gets the win, and then obviously Cody gets the crossroads in the end for the win. There's one point where the ref, just at the end, where Dustin's knocked down, the ref starts doing the counts. The 10 counts, and Cody's like, no, not ending the match like that, which is fair play to him. Picks him off, does the crossroads, and gets the free anyway. But he didn't want to finish on a TKO, a knockout. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen that match, then what have you been doing? Because that is a great match. It's still one of the matches that I say is a 5 out of 5 match. Everything's perfect about it. I wouldn't change a thing. And there's not very many matches, especially nowadays, that you can say that about, personally. So I'm going with that. Is my number one. Cody versus Dustin. Double or Nothing. 2019. I can't say too many of you would be surprised by that. But that's it. That's my top 5 of Cody Rhodes. Like I say, it's a little bit later than what I wanted it to be, but there you have it. So enjoy. Let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree. Is there any matches that you think should have been in there that I've missed out? Is there any matches that I've put in that you definitely wouldn't put in? Just let me know your thoughts and your feelings on my top 5 Cody Rhodes matches. And be sure to check out some more wrestling related videos coming very soon. I dropped late last night an unboxing of a WCW Booker T figure back from 1999. So go ahead and check that out if you're into wrestling figure unboxings. I've got more AEW universe mode on my WWE 2K23 to record and drop this week, and I'll also have a video coming out shortly. I'll record it not long after this for the WWE Night of Champions pay-per-view, which is tonight, and if you're in the UK it's tonight at 6 o'clock I believe, so it's not stupid o'clock in the morning like it normally is. I've still got Impact Under Siege to watch at some point today. That was on last night, so that's on my list to watch. So I've got a lot of wrestling to catch up on this weekend, especially considering where tomorrow. It's going to be fun. But yeah, like I say, thank you as always for watching. You know, I've been getting a lot of good views lately. One of me WE2K23 videos has gone past 1,800 views now. That's the most, absolutely most by a mile, that I've got views on a single video. I've got another one from obviously the game again, which is on 1,700. So if you've watched them, then thank you. If you are following my universe mode, thank you. If you watched any of my videos at all, if you've watched this video, thank you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll be dropping as much wrestling related content as possible. So as always, thank you, and see you soon.